Hi, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Coffee with Colin. My name is Colin Egglesfield, and this is the show where you get to drink coffee at 7 o'clock Central Standard Time with me and have some inspiring conversation with some amazing guests. And tonight, ladies and gentlemen, we have a special guest who is actually going to be joining me this weekend at the Romadrama fan experience down in West Palm Beach, Florida. So if you haven't gotten your tickets yet, and if you want to know more about what this Romadrama event is all about, you can go to romadrama.com and you can see everything about it, who's going to be there. There's going to be a bunch of actors from your favorite TV shows, from Lifetime, Hallmark, GAC, you name it. There's going to be roughly 25 actors there and actresses. Not only that, but there's going to be writers and producers and some people from these actual networks. So you're going to actually get to have a real in-depth view on what it's like to actually ask us questions about what it's like to be not only on set and from an actor's perspective, but also from a writer's perspective, a producer's perspective, to really get an amazing overall view of what it's like to actually be making movies and to be working in Hollywood. So this is going to be an awesome event too, because it's 3 days. It's not just an event where you're going to be able to come and sign or get autographs and take pictures. You're actually going to be able to hang out with us. And we're going to be doing a bunch of different things throughout the 3-day weekend, such as we're going to be doing karaoke. I myself can't sing. So maybe after, I don't know, shot of tequila or two, I might get up there. Hopefully not. But what I am excited about is on Saturday night, we're going to be doing something called Acting with the Stars. So on Saturday, we're going to be inviting some people up onto the stage. We have some scenes from movies such as The Notebook, Something Borrowed, and a few other movies where we're going to have people actually given the opportunity to jump up on stage and actually reenact some of these scenes with some of your favorite actors. And then on Sunday, we are going to be doing a few different things. And my guest, who I'm going to be bringing on here in a few minutes, she's actually going to be doing a yoga type of meditation session on Sunday morning leading up into my Inspire workshop. Now, if you haven't heard about my Inspire workshop, it is my 6-week goal-setting course. And this course is all about inspiring you to be the best version of yourself, for you to be able to get out of your comfort zone, for us to be able to set inspiring goals, for us to go out there into the world and really make happen the things that truly resonate with us from that deep spiritual place that is always reminding us that we want to do something. And a lot of the times we just ignore it because of what we think society expects us to be and what we think we should be doing in our lives. But we know deep down there are bigger, grander things that we want to be doing in life. And on Sunday, I'm going to be doing a 2-hour mini workshop version of my Inspire course. So again, this is going to be an amazing event, not just for you to be able to meet some of your favorite actors, but also for you to be able to participate in a lot of these fun events. All right, enough of that, because tonight I want to get to an amazing conversation with my next guest. She's been working pretty much same amount of time that I have been working. I've seen her in a bunch of stuff, and I'm excited to be chatting with her about her projects. She's from Canada. She graduated with honors from the theater school. She's got a BFA from the theater school at Ryerson Polytechnic University. And she's been on a ton of stuff. Foolproof, On the Line, The Kennedys, Signed, Sealed, Delivered. She's been on episodes of Supernatural, and she can currently be seen on Amazon Prime's The Boys, which has been critically acclaimed, and Netflix's Working Moms. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, please bring to the stage and welcome the beautiful, the fantastic, the talented Miss Kristin Booth.
Oh, why, thank you, Colin. What an intro.
Great to see you.
Nice to see you, and thank you for having me.
Thanks for taking the time.
Coffee.
All right, you got your coffee?
Cheers.
Cheers. Wait, what's on your coffee mug? Is that you?
It's a picture of me. And there's another one too. Where is it? There it is.
Kombucha. Oh, cool. What's kombucha blue?
A wonderful fan and podcaster made this mug for me. And he used my initials, KB. And my character Shane on Signed, Sealed, Delivered loves kombucha. She also loves jazz and blues. So I like
There we
coffee
go.
mug with my
Awesome.
face on it.
Well, this is great because obviously we're having a chat right now, but I'm going to be seeing you in 5 days in West Palm Beach, Florida, right?
Mm-hmm.
For the Romadrama fan event. This is again going to be a fun weekend. So, how did you get involved with this? How, like, the producers called me to ask me to be a part of this. Have you done this before? Is this something that are you used to doing these fan events?
No, this is my first fan convention. I've actually never done this before. I have a
Oh,
lot of
wow.
friends that do them, not this type, like the romantic comedy type. Most of my friends do horror or sci-fi conventions or like comic
Hmm.
conventions. But yeah, no, this is my first time, so I'm really excited to meet all the fans. I know all the postables, the big fan group of Signed, Sealed, Delivered are all coming, or most of them are coming. So I'm very excited to meet everyone that I've been sort of chatting with via social media for years. And I think, yeah, I think it's going to be an incredible event. Sarah and Gabrielle, who are organizing it,
Hmm.
have done a wonderful job, bring great stars and great people and events. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah. So I get the question, do I like to go to these events and interact with my fans? And I mean, I always, I love it because what I say is, like, a lot of the times, when we are shooting a film or a TV show, we go to the studio, we do our work, we come home, and we don't necessarily get to really hear from our fans exactly,
Mhm.
what our work means to them and the impact that it has had on their lives.
Mhm.
So you're saying this is one of your first fan events that you're going to be doing, but it sounds like you've been interacting with fans on social media. What is it about acting that you feel, not just for you personally, but that you like knowing that what you're doing is actually is entertaining and having
Mm.
a positive impact on people? What is
Well,
it about that that you like?
I think storytelling is so important and such a like transformational medium, really, because you can literally change someone's life by sharing a story with them, and whether that can inspire them or influence them or warn them, whatever. I mean, there's so many ways that storytelling can affect the people who are ready to receive it, right? And
Mm,
I find that what I do and what you do within that storytelling medium is create a character and someone that hopefully people can relate to. They can see, maybe perhaps see themselves in that character, or see loved ones or other people in that character and learn something and grow from that experience. And from what the feedback that I've received from people, the fans, certainly from Signed, Sealed, Delivered, is just that show, that character that I play, Shane McInerney, has
mhm.
has left an indelible mark on them in a positive way. It has made them, you know, they're better for it. They've made choices in their lives because of it, and that has led to better things for them. And there is nothing better as an actor than to hear that type of feedback. And so,
Yeah.
yes, I've been able to interact on social media, but to be able to actually meet them in person next weekend is just going to be such a unique and wonderful experience, and I can't
Yeah.
wait.
Yeah. I'm super excited. So as far as acting goes,
Hmm.
I mean, obviously you have a degree in theater. So it sounds like this is something that you were intentionally setting out to do. Was this something that you wanted to do from an early age?
Yeah, 12.
Wow.
Well, I mean, I was always playing, performing in some way or another. But when I was 12, I auditioned for a summer stock production of Annie. And I got a role in the chorus as one of the orphans. And it was the first time. It's so funny. I still, to this day, I'm like, duh, because I was 12 and I watched TV, of course, but I, for some reason, did not make the connection that you could be an adult, be an actor, and make a living. Like that could be your job.
Yeah.
And it was that experience on stage that summer that working with professional actors, adults, that I went, oh, hold on a second. I can do this. Like, as a career, I'm sold. So from that moment on, I honestly wore blinders. I was just like so sad on it. I wanted to quit school right then and there. And my parents were like, absolutely not, which is probably a good thing. So as soon as I was out of high school, I pursued the career of acting.
Awesome.
And yeah.
Was it something, because I mean, obviously, acting, like any profession, if you really want to be successful with it, it takes a lot of dedication, a lot of sacrifice. With acting, there's no guarantee though. So we go on auditions, and there's just no guarantee that you're actually going to be booking these roles and making money. So for a lot of people, it can be either something where they don't even want to try it because they're just afraid of the rejection or whatever. Were you ever concerned that, okay, I'm going to give this a shot, and if it doesn't work out, I'm just going to like pull the plug after a couple of years? Or were you like, you know what, I'm going to do this, like, come high or hell water, come hell or high water, this is something that I'm going to just do no matter what? Were you like fully dedicated to this from an early age?
Sure, I sure was. I was definitely come hell or high water. And I had a theater school professor say to me once, that if you have something to fall back on, you will.
You will.
And so I was like, well, I guess I'm just going all in. So I put all my eggs in one basket. And for the most part, I mean, you talked about the disappointment and the rejection and all that kind of stuff. And yes, that is like definitely a reality for every actor, even the Nicole Kidmans, like I've read articles where, A-list actors didn't get the roles that they wanted because so-and-so got it. And so there's rejection, there's disappointment, there's all of that, but nothing beats being on set and working with like-minded people to create something, whether, and it doesn't matter what genre either, for me anyway. It doesn't matter. I just want to tell stories. And so when I get to work with so many talented people doing just that, it makes it all worthwhile.
Do you ever get scared?
I almost said the F word. I was like, yeah. Every damn day, man.
Yes.
Yeah, no, I'm constantly scared. For so many reasons. Scared, like I get scared when I get an audition and I'm like, what if I don't get it? Or what if I do get it? Or, all of that. And you get scared when you're not working. You get scared when you are working because, you have to make other sacrifices. Like, I would say that the biggest fear for me is not being able to juggle all of the balls in the air. And those are, career, motherhood. I have a 10-year-old daughter, marriage, and then being a part of an extended family, being there for my parents who are now aging. So there's so many things that are being juggled. And so there was a long time when my daughter was very young that I was doing Signed, Sealed, Delivered, and we were shooting the series, and the hours were crazy, and my daughter was just turning 2 when I got that job, and I really felt spread so thin that I felt nothing was getting my best. I felt like everything was suffering, and that was a really, really hard time. It was wonderful, right? I was on a series. I was in a phenomenal series working with great people, but there were things, it was hard. It was a lot of sacrifice in other areas. So, yeah, I'm scared all the time. But the difference, I think the difference between being scared and letting fear control you or rule what your choices are, that's where I make those choices. I kind of like go with the fear, like, okay, I'm scared, but I'm going to do it anyway. So yeah, and then the worst fear is when you book a job and you're excited and you're like the first day going, what if I can't act anymore? What if they see through me? What if I can't do this? You
Yeah.
know, that whole imposter syndrome thing is
Yeah.
like very real.
Yeah. So it sounds like you're able to detach the feeling from your ability to actually take action in the face of that. Because I think a lot of people, and this is something obviously, I mean, when we're younger, when we feel fear or we're afraid of something, it's hard to separate our feelings or the emotions from our identity. And this is something that really helped me with my acting career in the sense that one of my acting teachers helped us identify that our emotions and what we're feeling is not who we are.
That's so true.
And the more that we can identify with who we really are, and then that then begs the question, well, who are we really? And how it was described to me is that whenever you are lit up or inspired, or you just feel absolute joy, or when you feel just connected to that bigger, grander, whatever it is you want to call it, God, universe, whatever, those are the times that you can start to really listen to what that deep voice inside of you is really trying to say. But I think we are so busy and we don't take the time to slow down, to check in with ourselves, that we just kind of go along with the flow of what we think society expects from us or what our parents expect from us. And what I loved about acting is that it really allowed me the time to slow down and check in with myself, because to be able to create these characters and bring them to life, you've got to check in and do a lot of deep inner work to connect and find out who this character is. And I started to ask my questions. Well, if I'm creating these characters and I'm doing this analysis on all these characters, well, what would it look like if I started to really, do this same type of character breakdown and analysis with who I really am? And it just allowed me this opportunity to just start to really check in with myself. And this is what I try to encourage people to do, is just take these moments to just slow down, check in. And it sounds like you are doing that with the yoga and the meditation stuff that you do, that we're going to be doing at Romadrama. How did you get into all of this kind of like mindset work and slowing down? And was it because of acting? Was it something that you felt like you needed to learn to get a control over some of these feelings that you were having that were preventing you from being the best actress that you could be? Or how did that all come about?
Well, I would say it's a combination of things. Certainly what you mentioned, my craft as an actor, what you say about trying or coming into yourself and connecting with yourself. I believe, a good actor looks for, even if it's minute, elements of themselves that they can then magnify and bring to life in a character, so that therefore when I create characters or work on characters or what have you, they all come from an actual true place within me. So that's how I sort of start when I approach a character, as I look for what is in me that I can put upon this character. And maybe it's just this tiny little thing, but then I'll blow it up and make it big for that character. But I would say my biggest challenge in my personal life and my family's life has been mental illness. I suffer from depression. I have since I was 24. And with that comes anxiety. I have family members that have bipolar. And so what I had to do is to find a way to, one, accept the mental illness in myself, in my family, the chemical imbalance, all of that kind of stuff. And the best way that I found to do that was to go inward and meditate, and to try to shut out all the noise. And so meditating has been a way for me to connect with my true inner voice, not the negative one, not society's voice, not the one. Somebody said actually really recently, and it was really, really beautiful. He said, I know who it was. It was a medium that my girlfriend, Crystal Lowe, who is on Sign Sealed Deliver with me and who will be at Romadrama. She went to see this medium and she sent me a TikTok of him, and he said, I have to share this. Spirit came and said that all those things, all those doubts that you have about yourself, that inner dialogue that you have, like, oh, you're not worthy, you're not smart enough, you're not good enough, you're not pretty enough, you're not, whatever it is for each person,
Mm-hmm.
that's not your voice. That's the voice of every person throughout your life that has told you you're not good enough, that has
Yep.
told you and then you've somehow assimilated it and believed it and made it truth and made it your truth, which is
Yeah.
that was like, for me, I went, oh my God, he hit the nail on the head.
Yep.
Because truly, when we connect to our inner self, and it's very hard to do, it's not easy. Meditation can be very challenging because we do have all that chatter, right? But what I've learned to do over the years and with my practice is acknowledge that chatter and go, oh, hey, hi, I hear
Mm-hmm.
you. Yep, I see you. I hear you. Good. Okay, thank you for that. And now I'm going to move past that and let that go. And something else will come for sure. And you thank it, you acknowledge it, you go, yep, great, thanks so much for that. And moving on. And eventually, when you do that enough times and you train yourself and you teach yourself to do that, each time I meditate now, I get less and less of that
Yeah.
outside voice. And then, with visualization and all that kind of stuff, you can really sort of like transcend. You can leave. It sounds airy fairy, but really, truly, it's just a matter of shutting out that talk, that negative talk that we all have, no
Yeah.
matter who we are.
Well, I appreciate you being so honest in revealing about mental health and
Yeah.
that something that your family and you've been dealing with, because obviously it's very prevalent in our society, but
Yeah.
up until I think recently, just even having this kind of discussion would be, I mean, no one talks about mental health, and to reveal that people are dealing with anxiety and mental health issues.
Mm-hmm.
um, for anyone to mention that, there's a stigma attached to that, obviously, where, well, there's something wrong with you, or there's something wrong with me if I say that I'm dealing with this anxiety or these negative thoughts. And I think the more that we can have this kind of discussion, um, and the more that people like yourself are brave enough to just acknowledge it and say, you know what, this is what I'm dealing with, and this is how I deal with it. I
Mm-hmm.
think this is super important. And I just want to say thank you for sharing this, because I think we all deal with our insecurities and our anxiety and that sort of thing. And that's one of the reasons why I've gone on this path myself, because as much as I love acting, it is a profession that makes all of your insecurities about who you are. I don't care how confident you are. You step in front of a room, in front of a casting director, or in front of a camera. And I think that's why a lot of people don't like getting their picture taken or taken video, because immediately all of your mental insecurities like pop up to the forefront. And I
Mm-hmm.
would just ask myself, like, I don't want to be controlled by these negative thoughts. I just want to be able to live my life freely and without this negative chatter controlling or dictating how I live my life.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not a very easy thing to do. And that's essentially why I like to have these kinds of conversations. But we have someone on here who's asking a question. Her name is Sharon Kalma. She's asking, what do you do to get over being nervous?
Oh, well, deep breathing is great. Um, there's something that I learned a little while ago called box breathing.
Mm-hmm.
And box breathing is basically inhaling for the same amount of time, holding for the same amount of time, and exhaling for the same amount of time. Usually, you don't want to go crazy, usually about 5, 6 seconds. And it's one of the things that I will be doing at Romadrama in my little yoga meditation class. And what that does, for me anyway, is it takes my mind off the nervous chatter in my mind. So all the negative stuff, all that stuff that creates those nerves, because really nervousness is self-doubt, really. Like that's what nervousness is. It's self-doubt. It's like, am I going to be able to perform, achieve, meet the demands of what is ahead of me? And it means you care too, right? It means you're invested. Yep. So that's the other thing, is like I don't look at my nerves anymore as negative. I look at my nerves as a sign. One, I care. That's good. It's good to care. And two, it just means I need to take my mind off that negative stuff. So the box breathing, it makes you stop, first of all. It makes you concentrate on counting the breath. So you go inhale for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, hold for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, exhale 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then you repeat that. And you repeat that like 4 times, and then take a break and breathe normally, and then do it again. And you'll see, like you'll find like your nerves just kind of like, whoo, everything just kind of quiets, and you're like, oh, okay. Yeah. Now that I took myself out of that pattern of thinking and that energy that was sort of like bubbling, now it's not so bad.
Yeah,
so that's a great technique.
Yeah, I read an article about a Navy SEAL. That's exactly what they teach Navy SEALs, to deal with the anxiety and the stress before they go into a mission, or while they're, during their missions and that sort of thing. And what I've learned is that anxiety and stress and fear generally come from not being in the moment. So when we're concerned about the future or worried about the past. And so whenever I have anxiety or stress, or I'm going to an audition, I always just try to find something in the moment that just snaps me back into the present moment. Because when you're in the present moment and you're in flow and you're just enjoying the moment, your brain is not worried about what happened in the past or what's going to happen in the future. And so that's what I love about acting. When you drop into a character and you're just connecting with another actor on set, it's like time stops. It's like falling in love. Like when you fall in love with someone, you're just like, 5 hours will go by and it's like, wait, how did that happen? And so I always am looking for moments in life where I can just get into flow and get into that present moment exercises.
Yeah.
Because that's the funnest place to live our lives, right?
Sure is.
Yes.
Yeah. No, it's very true. It's about being in the present moment, and therefore you won't hear all of that stuff that self chatter that's telling you you're going to fail.
Exactly. So what would you say are some of the biggest challenges of being an actor? And how do you deal with them?
I would say the biggest is the unknown, like not knowing, am I going to book something and be able to pay my mortgage for the next year or the next month? Like, yeah. So I would say the unknown, I mean, certainly the pandemic, if the pandemic taught me anything, it taught me that nothing is certain. Literally nothing is certain. Like, people who had jobs forever, they're like, in a minute, their jobs changed, or they lost their jobs, or, so nothing is set in stone. There's nothing that's guaranteed. However, most people who have a job that they go to every day, and they, they have I would say it's a false sense of security now that now that we've been through the pandemic. However, it is a sense of security, right? You as far as you're going to go to your job every day, you're going to get a paycheck, and all is going to be well, and you're probably going to be at that job for, years on end. Actors, on the other hand, unless they're on a series for years and years and years and years, we are literally always working for our next job. So we're auditioning and putting ourselves out there. And that's the thing too, is like sometimes auditioning can be very challenging for me, because I will sometimes get into my head and be like, why am I spending all of this time, hours and hours, learning lines, creating this character, figuring out how, then I'm going to go into the, room that I do my auditions in, and I'm going to set up the camera and the lights and all that. Then I'm going to edit it all when it's done. So
Yeah.
after all of that, probably what, like 7-8 hours of my time that I'm probably am not going to get the job. I don't get paid for that.
Right.
And I put myself out there by risking and going, hey, look at me. Look what I can do. Oh, you don't like that? Okay, thanks so much.
Yeah.
And then doing it all again, like the next day or 2 days from there now. So yeah, I would say the biggest challenge is just the unknown of not knowing when that next job is going to come, and will I be able to pay the bills?
So what keeps you going? What keeps you motivated? What keeps you inspired?
Partly that I don't know how to do anything else. I mean, there is truth to that. Like, I don't know what else I would do. Yeah, sure, I could go and I could, wait tables. I did that for years when I was younger. But I also know that I would die a slow death. Like my
Yeah.
soul needs to be fed, and the way that I feed my soul is through art. So,
Mhm.
you find things that also can do that work. I became a Pilates instructor.
Hmm.
The minute I got my certification, though, was booked on acting jobs for months on end, and so I never actually got to like go and teach, because I was always, but I got that, like I did that, which was great. Like I was, and I paint, so I have that. Recently I started doing that, and I sell prints of my paintings as cards, and opened a little Etsy shop. And
Awesome.
so you dabble, right? You do
Yeah.
what you got to do. You do what you got to do, and then you just keep putting your best foot forward with the auditions. And when you've been doing it as long as you and I have, it's
Hmm.
gonna, like, my coach, my fitness coach. I've been working with this amazing guy, Coach Ben. Ben Gustafson, and he has a company called Lift to Rise. And all the postables who are listening, this, because I talk about it on my Energetically Aging Instagram account. But he said to me, I was telling him, I was like, oh man, I don't know when the next job's going to come, and I'm getting frustrated, and I feel like I'm working in a vacuum because I'm auditioning and we don't
Yeah.
get the same, feedback that we used to, now that we're all auditioning at home, and, we don't go into rooms and interact with people. Now it's all like this. Um, and he said, you know what, Booth? He said, you're a professional, and you just stay the course, keep doing the basics, and your reward is imminent, and you just have to keep at it. And I was like, you know what? It's really good advice.
That
you
is
just
great
keep you
advice.
just keep doing it. Just keep
Yeah.
doing it. And I've worked, as you have, really hard at this throughout for the last 20 odd years.
I know.
And so you gotta give yourself credit for that as an
Yeah.
actor too, right? You gotta go, I have been doing this for this long, and I have been successful, and I have been, you know, blessed, and it's just gonna keep happening.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you mentioned this advice from one of your teachers. How about your parents or your family? What advice have they given you to support you on this crazy, insane journey of becoming an actor?
Well, I was really lucky because my parents were very supportive of me. They always have been. Whatever I sort of wanted to pursue, they were like, "Yeah, we'll, if you fall, we'll catch you," kind of thing.
Hmm.
So that I'm very blessed in that way. And my mom, was an artist, like is an artist, was an artist. She started, when I was born. She was a professional potter. So she had her own studio. She threw pots and sold them. She got a corporate account once, which was really great for her. And then she opened an art gallery, and she, had all these other artists come in and join the gallery. And so that was a sort of artist collective. But yeah, like they just always were like supportive, and whenever I came to them with an issue where I needed help, they were there. They were able to help me with advice, with a shoulder to cry on, sometimes financially. But that I've been really lucky in that way, and I know not everyone has that.
Is there any specific piece of advice that you can remember your mom or dad or someone else giving you?
My dad said in high school, this was before I was an actor, but I was upset. I had switched high schools just for one semester because I wanted to get, I don't know if you guys had it in the States, but in Canada for a long time, we had something called OACs, which was basically grade 13. So we had an extra year of high school, and you had to get, and you had to get 6 OACs in your 13th year. And I was never very good at math or science, and I was like, well, how am I going to get 6 without math and science? Because that's the OACs were how you got into college or university. They judged you on your marks for OACs. So I needed a drama OAC, but my high school didn't offer it. So I went to a new high school for one term to get that drama OAC, and I imagine going like your last year of high school into an environment where everyone else has been there for 4 or 5 years, and you're like brand new. So I had no friends, and I was incredibly lonely. And I was one night crying in my room, and my mom had just gotten me calmed down, and my dad came in, and he couldn't stand when I was upset. It would really bother him. And so he came in, he just went, "You don't need friends. You got me." And like in some ways, that was kind of the best advice anyone could ever give me, because it was like kind of like that idea of like, you have these 2 people here that love you so much, and you can get through anything because we got your back. And so I really truly feel like I wouldn't be where I am today without my parents and their support.
Awesome. That's great. So now as a mom, you've got a 10-year-old, right? Is she expressing interest in acting? Is that something that she wants to do?
She certainly has interest. I mean, she's a really interesting young thing. She often do you have kids?
I don't.
You don't?
Not yet.
So not yet. So she often makes me literally shake my, I'm like, who are you? I don't know who you are. I'm like, you're just so interesting and weird. And she really truly is an enigma in the best way possible. She's a puzzle I'm constantly trying to figure out. In some ways. So she does have an interest in acting. She has helped me with auditions recently by reading. There was a little girl in an audition a couple months ago, and she helped out, and she loved that. So she loves watching me dress up for auditions. She definitely is an artist. There's no question. She's a visual artist. She teaches herself animation on these apps, and then does so I don't know if she'll end up sort of pursuing it past just sort of this curiosity that she has, but she certainly, I think, is going to end up in the arts. And I only pray that I can give to her what my parents gave to me.
Awesome. Yeah. Awesome. And as a mom, I'm sure you're thinking about things that you want to teach her and instill in her. Was there any time in your life where you felt like you had to learn to stand up for yourself and set healthy boundaries, or has that been pretty easy for you your whole life?
Yeah, no, I would say it hasn't been. I for whatever reason, I've always been a people pleaser. So and partly I think because I'm a woman, if it was, not obviously intentional, but I grew up kind of prior to looking at, there's a different way that we raise our kids now. Whereas I would never say to my daughter, that's not ladylike. I would never, those words would never come out of my mouth to my daughter. Whereas I heard those words from my grandparents, from my parents. And so I think what comes along with that's not ladylike is mind your tongue, or, behave in a certain way. Don't do, don't spread your legs, like like not in that way. Like when you're like when you're a little kid and you're wearing a dress or whatever,
like a lady.
You can't play. You can't play like a boy can play, right? So if I had a dress on, for example, it would be like, oh no, don't, you can't like run up the monkey bars because you're wearing a dress, sort of thing. Whereas today, I don't feel like, at least more so anyway, we're far more, things are far more equal on the playground, so to speak. But I do think that whole like ladylike sort of idea did sort of seep into my subconscious to the point where, I always was like very, very aware of approval from, authority figures. And I think in my younger years that actually did me a disservice. I feel like it didn't allow me to raise my voice the way that I really truly wanted to. And I feel like in the last 10 years, maybe even just 8 years, I've really been able to, through all of the, self-work and meditation, and through just more experience too, and through watching my daughter, I learn from her every day. That I now I'm like, yeah, you know what? I'm just going to say what I think. And I don't care if you like me, because that's not my job. It's not my job for you to like me. It's my job to stand up for myself.
Exactly.
And so, and my daughter's really good at it.
I think
so I admire that a lot.
Yeah, we definitely can learn a lot from kids. And the funny thing is, like when you do stand up for yourself and exercise the word no, and say what you want, and this was something that was surprising to me, because I grew up a people pleaser as well. I just wanted people to like me. I wanted to fit in. I found that people started to respect me more when I would say, no, I don't want to do that, or that bothers me, or when you do that, it makes me feel this way. And I mean, the first few times I was like, I'd be like, no, but don't hate me. But so it takes a while to kind of practice and to set those healthy boundaries, but it definitely has made a huge difference in my life. And I mean, sometimes people are not going to be happy with what you have to say, but I guarantee you they're going to respect you. And ultimately,
and the thing is too, you don't have to be rude, right? It's not about being rude. It's just about standing up for yourself and saying, I'm not okay with that. I'm not comfortable. What can we do to change this so that we're both comfortable?
Yep, exactly.
And generally speaking, most people are like, oh, like first they're like, oh, okay. And then immediately they go, all right, got it. Let's figure something else out. And then you both walk away feeling okay with the interaction, or with whatever you were doing, and you can walk away and sleep at night, where instead of like playing it back in your head all night going, damn it, why didn't I say I wasn't okay with that, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So
are you currently in a relationship?
I am married, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How long have you been married?
I've been forever. No, I kid a little bit. It's true. It's forever. My husband and I met when I was 24, so we've been together for a long time. Yeah.
Okay.
Long
So
time.
tell us, what's the secret, Kristin? How do you keep it together?
There really truly is no secret, honestly. I do think this though. I will say this. don't settle. Don't settle. And I think everyone knows if they are settling. In their heart of hearts, everyone knows if they're settling. And I think, and I'll tell you why. Because I think a lot of people go into a marriage or long-term relationship and they think, well, it'll change. Things will change and it'll get better. No, it won't get better. It'll only get worse. That I can guarantee you.
Yes.
Because when you add life stress, whatever it be, kids, financial stress, moving, death, all of that stuff, it's just going to get worse. So something that's already not good is not going to get better with time. It's going to get worse.
Yeah.
So that's one. You've got to be in love. You've got to be in love with that person, because when shit gets real and life throws all of those challenges at you that I just mentioned, if you're not really truly in love with that soul, with that person, it's just going to fizzle out and deteriorate. And that last thing, that person has to make you laugh.
Yes.
You have to laugh. You have to laugh. My husband can make me laugh in literally the worst circumstances possible. And that, I swear to God, has saved our marriage so many times.
Huge.
Yeah.
So,
but I do really, I believe in all of those things. I believe in all of those things. And life is not easy. Life is challenging. And you need a partner that's going to be there during those challenges. And those things that I mentioned have to be there in order for it to work, I think.
Well, this was amazing. Those are like three of the best pieces of advice I think I've ever heard with regards to relationships. So thank you for that.
Thank you. Oh my gosh, my pleasure.
Regarding the second one, though, you got to be in love. Do you feel that just is natural, or is that something that you feel requires constant recreation and attention and work to keep that love feeling there, or do you feel like it's just naturally there with your husband?
Oh no, it takes work. I mean, when I say you got to be in love, what I'm talking about is that initial connection that you have with someone.
That spark.
It can't just be attraction. It can't just be physical. It can't just be. I think there has to be a physical attraction element. But it can't be everything.
Yeah.
I also think the same for, a connection on, intellectually, a connection. It can't just be that. It has to be all of these things, these little things. There has to be a physical attraction. There has to be a spark. There has to be an intellectual attraction, so that you guys can have conversations 20 years down the road. And challenge each other intellectually as well as spiritually. And it sounds like, I'm sure people are out there who are single going, I'm never going to find this person. and listen, no one's perfect. There's always going to be challenges. There's always going to be differences. You're always going to have times where you're like, I don't know if I want to be with this person anymore. But why I say that love has to be there is because that is what keeps you together in that time where you're like, I don't think I can be with this person anymore. It's that love that's there, that was there when you met, that you grew together, that keeps you going on. And when you say, is it constant work? Yes, it's constant work. So yes, that initial love is there, but you have to feed it. You have to water it. You have to, like a plant.
Yeah.
You gotta nurture it. So once you abandon that plant's gonna shrivel up and die.
Yep.
Right? So think of your marriage or your love or your relationship like a plant.
This is what my mom says, Kristin. This is exactly what my mom says.
I love your mom.
That there's three entities in a relationship. There's the two people, and then there's the relationship. And it's not just about doing stuff for each other, but it's intentionally doing things that help the relationship and that are purposeful for recreating and keeping that connection alive. So
Yes.
setting a date night,
Yep.
doing
Yep.
things that are for the relationship, not just for the other person.
Yeah, and I think, setting a date night, like sometimes that's impossible. Like maybe you don't have enough money to go out. Maybe you have a child at home that you can't afford a babysitter. So you have to get creative. You have to, maybe date night is finally the kid's asleep and you rent a movie for $5 on, Netflix or whatever. But
Yeah.
and you have a nice glass of wine or something, and you just take that time. Like just take the time to like sit and connect with each other. Because that's where things start to fall apart when you don't take that time in life to connect, to reconnect and go, hey, are you okay? Like, are you good? Like,
Yes, like
I'm
really
good.
truly
Are
checking.
you good?
Yeah.
Like, yeah. And I think again, another thing is communication, and that's just, to just touch on, like, are you good? Like connecting and like finding out what's going on with your partner. And
Yeah.
I know that I made a huge mistake in my marriage that I have tried to I've worked really hard to correct. And I think my husband was guilty of it too, which kind of led to like a moment where we were like, okay, we need to like figure this out, this communication thing. And what that was is that we figured out that we cared about each other so much and loved each other so much that we were terrified of hurting each other. And so we would keep things to ourselves. We wouldn't say something that was bothering that the other person did or that we felt that the other person needed to do, because we didn't want to hurt the other person that we cared so much about. But what that ended up doing was leading to resentment. Because if you don't share what's going on in here, it's going to stay. It's not going to go anywhere. It's going to stay there, and it's going to build. The next thing's going to happen, and that's going to build on top of that, and that, and that, and that, and that, and that, and then you're like, oh my God, I'm going. And then they don't load the dishwasher properly, and you're literally like packing your bags, walking out. You're like, I'm done, and they're like, what? I just didn't load the dishwasher the way you like.
Did, yeah.
But it's all of that stuff that's built up because you didn't communicate. It's okay to hurt the feelings of your partner as long as it's not coming from a place of malice. It's okay if you're coming from a place of, I need to express myself. Something isn't working for me, and I'm so sorry that it's hurting you to hear this, but I gotta say this. And then you can work it out. And then you can figure it out. But if you never say it, then that resentment is just like gets so massive.
There's nothing worse than being polite with each other in a relationship. It's like it just kills the passion. Like, I mean, that's one of my acting teachers said, that in order to have a good scene, you've got to have passion, which is equal parts love and hate, where not hate in the sense that you want to like destroy this person, but something where there's that friction of like that keeps that spark there. And I think that really truly rooted in being honest. And again, there's no way you can go through 40, 50, whatever years of marriage without pissing someone off. And you've got to be willing to be able to say, listen, honey, I know, like you just said, I know this, you may not want to hear this, but when you do this, it aggravates me, or it makes me feel frustrated, or it makes me feel like I'm not connected with you. But I think it's important to also preface what you're going to say as well, in the sense that saying like, this is not to attack, this is not to criticize. I'm not saying this because I'm just trying to because you load the dishwasher the wrong way. It really comes down to focusing and getting agreement on what you both want in the relationship. And if it's going to help create more connection and open communication, I think you've got to keep fighting for that, and you've got to do everything possible to keep those channels of communication open. Because like you said, as soon as that shuts down, the resentment builds, and then before you know it, you're literally walking out the door because they loaded the dishwasher not the way you wanted them to.
And one of the things that I learned, I can't remember what book it was I read it in, but one of the things was when I to preface something and say, I know you didn't do this intentionally. I know your action wasn't intentional to hurt me, or wasn't intentional to cause me whatever frustration or whatever, but I have to say that it did, and I'm expressing that now. How can we, and generally what I find happens is I will, in a relationship, I will express myself or say something, and then something will come back at me. And I think you have to be ready for that, right? You have to be ready for the thing that your partner has been holding back on.
Yeah.
Because, and that was the other thing I read too. If you get to a point where both parties are angry and aggravated, something happens in our brain, our frontal cortex flips. And if both people have a flipped frontal cortex, then you aren't going to hear the other person.
No.
All you hear is your own inner dialogue,
Yes.
your own hurt, your own anger, your own, whatever.
So your critical thinking goes out the window. And
So if you feel that, and we usually can, we can usually go, oh, okay, I am so, usually it's you see red, right? You're like, I'm so fired up right now. All I hear is my own stuff. I'm not actually hearing this person. Then, one of the things that I was like, and I learned this because of perimenopause, which by the way, my face is red because I'm having a hot flash. Just
no, it's
FYI.
Cute. You got cute rosy cheeks.
This is what did someone called this my Irish tan, but I haven't been drinking. I'm dealing with perimenopause now, which is a whole other challenge of being a woman, which is not fun. And so every once in a while now, I just go, woo! And so that's what that is. So just FYI, and by going like, is she okay? I'm okay. Just really hot. But yeah, so what I do now is I'll stop and I'll go, I don't think I'm hearing you anymore. I can only hear myself. And because one of the things that my husband Tim would do is he would stop an argument and go, I need a break, I need to leave, and it would make me so angry. And I would be like, no, we have to deal with this. But now what we do is just go, it has nothing to do with you. I can't hear anything but myself right now. So I need to just step back and it doesn't have to be for long. What I do is I go splash cold water on my face. And it actually brings me back, and I'm like, okay, I'm back. I'm all right. And then you can communicate again. But it's hard work. I mean, relationships are hard work. Long-term relationships are hard work. And anyone who tells you different is lying.
Yeah. Well, obviously you've been doing something right, because to be with someone for how many years now have you been married?
We got married in 2006, but we met in 1999. Okay. So I told you I'm not good at math. So you do the math. 23 years. 23. Yeah, it's a long time.
Yeah. Well, you've given us a lot of really great insight and advice, Kristin. We appreciate it. I do want to just quickly, someone was asking about what Sunday was going to look like at Romadrama. So at what time are you starting your meditation session?
So at 8 a.m., there is a exclusive come and chat with me and have tea, share tea with me at 8 a.m. That's for half an hour. And then I believe it's 8:30, the yoga and meditation will start. Okay. And please come, please join me. Don't be intimidated if you've never done any yoga or anything like that before. All are welcome. And it's nothing to be nervous or scared of. It's just going to be gentle stretching, breathing, and then I'll take you on a little meditation prior to Colin's Inspire Summit. Awesome.
Well, I'm super excited to meet you in person, Kristin, and thank you again for all of your amazing insight. This is truly insightful.
Thank you for having me.
And now is the time for us where we get to ask you what your favorite movies are. Okay, are you ready?
Yeah.
All right. So, what is your favorite movie of all time?
The Princess Bride.
All right, amazing movie, amazing, amazing, amazing. What do you love about it so much?
Everything. I think it's so funny and smart, and I love the love story. Um, and it's timeless. Like I shared it with
Yeah.
my daughter when she turned 10, and she loves it now too. It's just one of those, it's just so well written and so well
Mhm.
directed. It's a coming of age story. I mean, it's so interesting because I used to focus when I was younger, I focused all my sort of like um, energy on Buttercup and Wesley's relationship. And now that I'm older and I have my own child, all I see is the coming of age story of Fred Savage and the relationship with his grandfather. And so it's changed over the years for me what it
Mhm.
means to me, but it's just the best film. And I can literally quote it almost word for word the entire time I watch it, and it drives my daughter crazy.
Well, thanks for the reminder. I haven't seen it in a while, and it's a good one to
So
revisit.
so good.
What was your favorite movie growing up as a kid?
Who? Well, The Princess Bride. I probably this, and most Americans probably haven't seen it, but Anne of Green Gables with Megan Follows. It was a Canadian production.
Hmm.
It may have gone across the border, but it was basically a mini series based upon Lucy Maud Montgomery's novels.
Okay, that's one I've never heard of.
Wow,
So
it's wonderful. Anyone who has children should definitely find Lucy Maud Montgomery's novels and read them to their kids. They're really,
okay,
really lovely. Yeah.
awesome. And what was or what is your favorite romantic comedy?
When Harry Met Sally,
Oh my God, such a great movie.
the best
So
movie.
good.
Yeah.
It's such a realistic depiction of how like two completely opposite people can can still make a relationship work.
Yep. Yep. And that's,
Yeah.
I talked about that love thing. That love thing is there. And
Yes.
and they, even when they hated each other, they loved each
Yes.
other.
I just
Yeah.
love like when he goes to spit his seeds out the window and it's and she's like, ew, like
Oh, there's so many great things in that film.
yes.
Yeah. I would say too that those performances are both Meg's and Billy's best
Yeah.
from what I've seen. They're just so good.
Yeah. I'd have to agree. What is your favorite comedy?
Um, I know I should have prepared. My favorite comedy is, well, it's kind of The Princess Bride too. Like it's so
Yeah.
fun. Like, but oh, Throw Mama from the Train was one of them.
Who
Loved that
yeah, who was
movie.
that in that again?
Billy Crystal,
Okay. Yep.
Danny DeVito.
That's right.
Yeah, it's brilliant. Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. Oh,
Um,
I know my favorite comedy. Oh my gosh, Dirty Rotten Scoundrels.
amazing.
The
Amazing. But
best.
so is Planes, Trains, and Automobiles as well.
Yeah,
Steve
yeah,
Martin, John Candy.
so good.
Amazing. Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. Awesome. Who's your favorite actor or male character in a movie or TV show?
Anthony Hopkins in Silence of the Lambs.
Amazing. Yep. Absolutely. He's one of my favorites as well.
Yeah.
So I teach an acting class, and I always bring that scene up where Clarice comes to meet him in the glass jail,
Yes.
and it's just a master class in subtext and how to convey everything that you need to convey without saying really anything.
Yeah. Yeah.
Incredible.
Yeah.
Incredible. And who's your favorite actress or female character in a TV show or a film?
Hmm. Kate Winslet, Mayor of
Hmm.
Easttown, but also Sense and Sensibility.
Who else was in Sense and Sensibility?
Emma Thompson, who's also brilliant.
Yeah.
Everyone's brilliant in it.
Was Colin Firth?
Colin Firth, Alan Rickman, who's also my favorite all-time actor, and his performance in Die Hard is one of my favorites.
Oh yeah.
But Kate Winslet in Sense and Sensibility, and then again in Mayor of Easttown, and pretty much everything she's done.
Yeah, she's fantastic. She's fantastic. And so are you, Kristin.
Oh.
Enjoyed our conversation. And so you currently have 2 TV shows on right now. One is The Boys, and then the other one is it's
Working Moms. Yeah.
Can you quickly tell us a little bit about both of these projects? And everyone who's watching, be sure to check them out.
Oh, thanks. Working Moms is on Netflix. I'm in season 5 and season 6. I play Cheryl, a pill-popping suburban mom who's not very nice, which I love. I love to play mean characters or characters that are not so nice. And then The Boys is on Amazon Prime Video, and it's truly an incredible show. It's probably, even before I was on it, my favorite show. I think it's brilliantly written, brilliantly executed.
It's about
the
these
acting,
superheroes that are
anti-superheroes, basically. Yeah. But
Anthony Starr, Chase Crawford. Who else is on there?
Carl Urban and Jack Quaid and Aaron Moriarty and Karen Fukuyama. Like, it just, everybody. It's just so good. But I will warn you, it's very violent, and very graphic in kind of every way. So it's not for everyone. But if you can handle it, it's so brilliantly written. Mm-hmm. They do such a brilliant job satirizing capitalism and the far right, and like it's just so good. It's just so well done. Awesome. So I got to play a superhero in that. So that's and my big episode comes up on Friday.
And what's your superpower?
Well, I'm part of a twin team. I'm the TNT. I'm Tessa from TNT Twins. So my twin and we don't have superpowers without each other. So we grab hands, and a blast comes out of our opposite hands. So we hold hands and we say TNT activate, and it all comes out of our hands.
Awesome.
So, crazy stuff.
Awesome. Well, everyone, check it out when you get a chance, and come to Romadrama. We can't wait to see you guys all there.
We can meet you.
Yes, it's going to be an amazing weekend. Looking forward to Sunday with your meditation session.
Thank you.
Kristin, thanks so much for your time. Appreciate you being here. Great to meet you, and I can't wait to see you
too, Colin. Lovely time chatting. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. My pleasure. Take care for now.
You too.
All right, everyone. Again, another amazing episode and a great conversation. We'd love for you guys to come to Romadrama this weekend so that you can meet Kristin and myself in person, and to take part in our Sunday special session of meditation and reconnecting to yourself. We're going to be doing some amazing, fun exercises. Oh, no. An ambulance is driving by. I always hate when I hear that. See, this is what you get with live streaming, ladies and gentlemen. But on Sunday, we are going to be doing a really amazing day of connecting to your true self. And again, my 2-hour Inspire workshop is going to come right after Kristin's meditation session. And then right after my Inspire session, we're going to have a special little astrology session taught by a woman named Renee, who is an expert in astrology. So if you're into that, it's going to be a really fun and exciting Sunday. And then, of course, you're going to get the opportunity to meet all of your favorite hunky actors and beautiful actresses from all your favorite TV shows. So really looking forward to seeing you guys this weekend. And if you can't make it, don't worry. We're going to be doing more of these as the months go on. We're going to be probably doing something in September, I believe, in Temecula, California. And just looking forward to all these events. It's great that we finally are able to get back to some normalcy in life. And, I know a lot of people are dealing with a lot of different things. Kristin mentioned mental health, and I know the world and the stuff that's going on in the world right now, there's a lot of uncertainty and fear, but I just want to remind you that a lot of what we see out there in the real world is not necessarily real. And a lot of the times we can get swept up in the idea of something and instead of the actual reality of it. And I know we are all dealing with real life situations. And I just would encourage you that if you need help in any way, to just reach out. Don't be afraid to be real and to reach out and ask people for help if you need it, especially if you're dealing with any mental health issues. And it's not a sign of weakness when you're asking for help. It really shows a sign of strength, and it shows a level of awareness and maturity. And it's all about doing things that truly honor yourself, because by asking for help and being authentic and being real with someone, it actually helps other people to be real and authentic, much like what you saw Kristin, how she was tonight, how honest and authentic and real she really was about some pretty serious stuff. And I think we all have a level of feeling like we can talk about this stuff a little easier after this conversation. So just be kind to yourself, be kind to others, and just keep being the best versions of yourself. And can't wait to see you guys all this upcoming week at the Romadrama conference. And be sure to check out Kristin's TV shows, The Boys and Working Moms, when you can. All right. Take care for now. Have a great rest of your week, and I'll see you guys all next time.